Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to sunny Southern California on a nice and cloudy day. It's been about, what has it been, about 6, 7 months since I leased this big, beautiful launch edition Gladiator. And I just wanted to kind of recap some of my thoughts of what it's been like owning this thing for the past 7 months. I've driven it every day. I've put it through a ton of work. I renovated our home, and even though I had a lot of contractors, it really sped up the work to have a truck, because anytime I needed something picked up, like a set of doors or something like that, if I were to rely on a contractor, it would have been a few days to wait for him to go get that done for me, whereas I could just run across town and get it myself and come back. I picked up a ton of tile and a ton of stone with this thing. Handled like a champ. I absolutely loved it. It was exactly the right truck for the job. And I've bought a ton of lumber with it too, actually. Let's see, nothing, probably, I don't think I got anything like as big as 12 foot, but I definitely did 8 and 10 feet. 10 feet was a little bit much, obviously, but 8 foot lumber, not a problem. Sticks out the back a few feet with the tailgate at that angled position stop. Just put a couple of red rags behind it and you're set to go. I actually ended up picking up most of the lumber I needed, I think, with the truck. And then I also took a few trips to the dump with this, and I filled it up with trash, like kind of to where my hand is right now. And it was I should have taken a few pictures of that. I probably do have them. If I do, I'll include it in this video. Anyway, wanted to kind of quickly go through some of the big surprises, maybe, and just my overall experience. I will say this right off the top. My purchase experience was great. I walked right on the lot, saw this thing, kind of fell in love with it, worked out the deal, and got out. This was like in the first couple of weeks that Gladiators were even available. I had one on reserve through Tri-City Jeep, like most guys do. And, those guys actually changed the deal on me with a lease. And I made a really horrible deal out of it. So I left them my deposit and I ran out of there. Went to my local dealer and made a much better deal in person here in Southern California. So if you're in Southern California and you're thinking, hey, I'm going to go through Tri-City and get the car shipped to me, I think that's a big mistake. I think you can work out a better deal here in SoCal. No offense to the guys at Tri-City, but they worked out a rotten deal for sending a vehicle here to Southern California, especially on a lease. Now, on a purchase, that would have probably worked out better to go through them. But honestly, I still think you can work out the same deal here. If you walk on the lot, you write a number on a piece of paper and you slide it across and you say, that's what I want to pay. You'll still save more money rather than having to ship the vehicle across the country, which would have cost me about $1,000. And then having to deal with that, right? It's like having to register an out-of-state vehicle here. I don't know. It's just not worth it. Walked out of the dealer. Now, the reason I fell in love with this one, it already had the leveling kit and these 35s with these wheels already put on it, which is what I intended to do anyway. So it kind of saved me all that work, and I really like the wheels. I like the tires. These are the Biff Goodrich ones. Anyway, I absolutely loved it. And to top it off, it wasn't just any Rubicon. It was a launch edition. So got that little badge in the back. Doesn't mean a whole lot to most of you. And honestly, it's not a big deal to have the launch edition badge per se. But I think the biggest advantage of getting the launch edition is not only do you get a fully optioned vehicle, but you get this nice leather dash. And I actually, coming from mostly like luxury cars and higher end sports cars, I can really appreciate this. This is like a big deal to me. I've kind of got it all messy in here. My dash cam is still hanging on with this loose wire here, so I'm sure I'll get a couple of real nice comments on that. But the truck itself has been phenomenal. Let's see, some of the other launch edition bits. I think just the extra leather inside is kind of the nice bit. Let me see if I can give you a wider angle. Here we go. Of the interior. I just got rid of a ton of trash out of my car. Now, in the rear, I've got the two kids. I got a booster seat and this the base for the baby seat. And one of my bigger complaints with most SUVs or trucks is that once you've got a baby seat in the back here, there's not enough room to back your seat up and still be comfortable in the front. It is not the case with this car. Although I'm not very tall, I'm 6 feet, and I don't want this seat on that side, because with it on that side, you know, when you actually install the baby seat, it comes out to about here, and I would have to move my seat forward a little bit, maybe about 1.5 inches, 2 inches. It would still be comfortable, but I'm a little bit more comfortable having my my older kid sit on that side, who sits in the booster. Anyway, so that's that as far as rear seat room is concerned. Of course, with any Gladiator, you get tons of storage, and with the launch edition, you automatically get this Bluetooth speaker, which is actually quite a good Bluetooth speaker. I was just using it right before this video, so that's been nice to have. If you're thinking of getting that as an option, I think it's okay. It's not a great value for the price or anything, but it's an okay thing to have. Let's see here. Let's go around, and so I carry these two 2x4s here with me that I've cut them exactly to fit the detent on the wheel wells, so that you can stack stuff on top. I think you know what I mean. So these two indentations, one on either side. I'm trying to one-hand this thing. There you go. So with that in that position, and then the truck bed in this position, you get a straight line between this and that to stack lumber on top of. Obviously you want to hook both sides of that cable in, but what else? I just keep some of these nice Husky straps in the back, and some cardboard just in case I gotta haul something around. So these are the little fastener things. I forget what Jeep calls them. They're okay. I'm not in love with these things. They're actually kind of a pain to move around. And I even read the segment on them in the book. You know, you see, it's they're a little tricky. You gotta really play with them to get them to move. They're okay though. I mean, it's nice to have. They do seem kind of, I mean, I put a lot of weight on these things and they haven't broken. So I don't know what I'm basing this on. I feel like they're gonna break. And I've already heard a couple people breaking these things, which is kind of unacceptable. I would think this needs to be rock solid, these hooks. But I've heard of them breaking. Mine haven't broken. I have had a lot of weight put on them, but not laterally, right? So it's not like I haul the refrigerator and try to swerve up the hill. But we do live off a 12% grade down this hill. If you go down here, it is kind of a nightmarish climb for most trucks. It's actually, since I've moved in, it's claimed 3 different trucks, transmission on 3 different trucks. So it is a bit of a grade, and when I'm hauling stuff up, it does push back against you know, that 12% grade. You know, you're kind of going up like this, and a lot of G-force, I guess, on whatever you're hauling. If you're hauling something very vertical, it will definitely tilt in. But all of the fasteners and things like that, I've used them like crazy, and they've worked really well for me. The tonneau cover has been wonderful. I hear a lot of complaints on this thing, and I've had this now for 6 months. It's been parked outside every day, and we've had quite a bit of rain this year. Not as much as some of you obviously get on the East Coast. Oh, didn't hook in. You got to make sure that both sides, see that this thing has to hook in here. Same on the other side. You get this nice satisfying click, and when it's down, it should look nice and flush. So when you close it, done. Now, as a lot of you have pointed out, this is not a secured cover because you can pry this up. That is not very good. But I saw a couple posts where people worked out some sort of like a hook, little hook system on their own to kind of keep it locked, which I think is a good idea. What are some of my favorite things? I'll say this. Oh, first, let me talk about, have I modified anything else? I have not. The only thing I have done is replace this little stubby antenna, which I don't even remember where I bought this from. But if any of you are interested, let me know in the comments, and I'll let you know. One thing that I've already fallen victim to is, you can barely see it, but there's a crack in the windshield going across here. You can see it in the light, I think. But since it terminates here and here, I don't see it going that way, and it hasn't in a few months now. So I'm gonna leave it until I get a bigger one, which I'm sure I will. The steel bumper has been awesome. I absolutely love this thing. I think it looks great. I haven't purchased a winch yet. I don't have any plans of going crazy off-roading. I've taken it off-road a couple of times, but nothing too tremendous. And I don't do, rock crawls and things like that. It's not in my, I don't have any plans to anyway. If I do plan to get into it, I'll probably add some accessories. But other than the stubby antenna and the leveling kit and wheels and tires that it came with, I haven't really done much. I've taken the roof off a few times. Haven't taken the doors off yet. I plan to do that a lot this summer. And the kids just love the Jeep. The wife actually likes the Jeep quite a bit, which has been surprising. I get a lot of compliments on it. And, I also bought this Pro Clip phone mount, which is kind of a big mount in my opinion, honestly. But it works quite well. And it moves, which doesn't seem like it would be useful, but it does, and I like that. And I like how I can kind of turn this on its side and watch a video or something like that. Not that I would ever do that while driving. So let's see, what else? My impressions after 7 months. This truck has been fantastic. I came from my previous vehicle to this. Like, my truck-like vehicle was a Range Rover Sport SVR. And I know that is a completely different class of vehicle, has nothing to do with this. But all things being the same, I like driving this way more than I like driving that. Even though that was super fast and really cool looking, I actually get a lot more compliments driving this. Not that that's why you should buy a truck, but I get stopped every day. I get more out of this than I ever have out of my NSX or any other vehicle I've ever driven. It's every single day. People are like, oh, wow, that's really cool. Oh, man, I love your truck, this and that. So I think the other thing is, though, I find people either hate this truck or they love this truck. I find about 10% of the people just hate this truck, and 90% of the people love this truck. Something like that. I don't know. I've got some detection bias, I'm sure, there. But yeah. So let's see. Let's get into some of the things I love. I actually like the amount of storage I get. I come from cars that don't have a lot of storage. You get not a lot of storage there. It's a relatively small glove box, but it's enough. You get 2 layers of storage here, which is freaking great. I love that. 2 nice size cup holders, tiny little thing right there. Okay. And I don't really know what this was intended for, but here's what I use it for. I think it's maybe intended for change or whatever. But once in a while, like, I'm running to the hardware store and I've got a couple like tiny little screws I got to match, and I just put them in there because it's a pretty safe place. Nothing's going to go anywhere there. I like that. And then some people put either the phone here, but the key, let's see if I've got the key. The key actually fits perfectly right there. And I think that's what it was intended for. And then the key itself, it's a giant key. And, initially I was like, man, I wish this key wasn't so big because it's going to, it takes up a lot of room in your pocket. One thing I hate about the key is this thing on its own, it actually clips out quite often. So that's a pretty annoying thing because, like, almost every time I'm trying to take it out of my pocket, it's already been flipped up. And I'm sure I can figure out a way maybe just to tape that in or something. I don't know. But what I love about the key, you ready for this? You can be literally a quarter of a mile away from this car, or from this truck, and this key will have perfect reach. I mean, it's an unbelievably long range key. And the other feature I absolutely love, and if you're going to order this truck, I highly recommend you opt to get this one option, because I feel like it's an absolute dream for me. I park the truck outside. I keep calling it a car. I park the truck outside every night, and it's nice because I'm getting the kids ready just before I step out of the house. 2 clicks on the key from no matter what distance. I could be inside the house. Truck starts up and it's nicely warmed up, so when I jump in, I just back right out. I don't have to wait for it to warm up, and I know it's not a big deal here in Southern California, but man, is that become my favorite thing. I love how no nonsense it is. You just click the 2 things and boom, you're in, boom, you're out. I think that's been just the best. And if you don't believe me, take your key and go far from in a parking lot. I mean, I could be on the other side of my house inside and double click that thing and the truck started. It's phenomenal. My wife's super jealous because on her Discovery, you have to go through your phone app, click the start button, and something like 15 minutes later, once in a while, her SUV will start. Let's see, what else do I really love about this truck? So that's been my favorite kind of thing. I didn't even expect at all that I would fall in love with. I really love that feature. I'm going to make sure that all my future cars have that if it's an option. Seats have been super comfortable, man. Oh, by the way, this keyless go feature is really great, except for one of the flaws that it has. Even though you're paying good money to get it, right, it doesn't work on the rear doors at all, right? It doesn't have that sensor back here. You have to do the front door first, and then you can open the rear doors. And same with the tailgate. And I actually feel like the tailgate that's a real missed opportunity, because a lot of times you're coming up to the truck and you just want to open it. Nope. You got to take your key out and click the thing, or go to the front, open that front door, and then open that up. So that's kind of a missed opportunity for as much money as you're paying for that option. I feel like it should have been there. Let's see. Obviously, this truck has all the safety features because it is the launch edition. Those they've been kind of buggy. I gotta say, one of the worst things that's happened is that emergency braking feature that like brakes before you hit something. That has malfunctioned on me a few times. Especially one time in the rain on the freeway where there was no cars in front of me. The car just slams out of the brakes on its own out of nowhere. Scared the piss out of me and probably everyone behind me. And I took it in. There was a TSB that someone had posted on the forum. Thank God, because they didn't know how to find it. And they applied the TSB, and it hasn't happened since. So I'm really hoping that has taken care of that. I got the trail cam and the rear cam. Those work really, really, really well. I'm absolutely in love with both of those because I use them every day, especially when parking this truck. You see the front bumper sticks out. What is that, about a foot, right? So if you're trying to get into a tight parking space, it's just nice to have that there, even though there's park sensors and stuff like that all over the place. But I think it's just a nice thing to have. One of the things I was going to show you, I should have probably organized this video a little bit better, but there we go. One of the things I was going to show you, and I'm sure a lot of you know about this, is this under the seat storage. So you can just lift the seat, and you see how easy it just comes right up. Now, I have noticed there is a little bit of flaw with this mechanism that does this. If you're parked on a hill and you do that, it will come up, but it won't come down because the vehicle's in an angle. So again, on a flat surface like I am now, it works well. So you have to keep that in mind. So this under the seat storage is fantastic. I've got a lot of stuff on both sides. It's got dividers. And what I love is that I can lock it. It's got that little lock there. So if I've got ammo or whatever, I lock it in here, and I'll keep it closed, and it's done and done. One thing I don't like about it is removable, right? So, it's got this handle where you can carry it out, but to carry it out, you got to like undo like 4 of these bolts down here. And, that's not a convenient thing. You have to get in there to do that. So that can take some time. I think that's also a little bit of a missed opportunity for maybe like an easy to undo fastener down here. But then I guess it wouldn't be as solid as it is, because this is literally part of the vehicle. So it's nice. It never rattles. By the way, no rattles anywhere in this vehicle. A lot less than most trucks. It is very comfortable. The heated seats work really well. Air conditioning and heater work extremely well. Oh, this comes with a cold weather package only because it's a launch edition, but I think I would have ordered that anyway because my wife loves the heated seats. And, I like that there's individual buttons for everything. These buttons, by the way, everything is perfect. Like, all this stuff has just been done really well. First of all, the soft touch buttons are just perfect. They feel really good, high quality. The knobs are just like real great knobs. Everything is exactly what you'd want. A lot of modern cars and trucks now have like where the heated seat is inside, like the menu, and you have to get through to do that. This truck has really figured out exactly the buttons you need out here and exactly what you need in here. And by the way, the touch screen and the whole interface inside and the infotainment system, second to none. I've been through the entire gamut of the car industry. Even Mercedes, which is really great these days, I feel this is better. It's more user-friendly. The satellite radio is just off the hook good. The stereo system, this comes with the upgraded one, phenomenal. Just really, really great for what you're paying for. I think you're getting more than what you're paying for. The speakers are up here, speakers in the doors. Just a wonderful sounding system. Apple Carplay, really nice big screen, works flawlessly. The absolute second you connect the phone, boom, it's ready to go and it's good. Siri and all that stuff works really well through it, even though Siri is kind of a piece of crap in my opinion. It works as well as it does in any other car. I've never had a complaint that people can't hear me well over the phone, because I use the hands-free, obviously, that when it's connected to the CarPlay. As you can see, I've got no negatives about this truck. I've got like very few, like nitpicky stuff, I think, so here's one thing. If it was me, if I'm talking launch edition with leather seats and all of that stuff, right? And this is a very non-Jeep owner thing to say, so I'm probably going to get ripped to shreds for saying it. But if you've got this luxury package type interior, maybe throw in some electronic seats. I know those are there so that you can submerge the vehicle to some extent and whatnot. Hey, make it an option. There's going to be a couple of guys that don't submerge their vehicles. Hey, I'm happy to say I'm one of them. I'm probably not going to go in to a river with this thing. I'm not, I'm not in the 1% club that's going to take these things all the way down to the wading depth. So would that be nice? It would be nice, but is it a big problem? It really isn't at all, because these controls are actually quite intuitive. They work really fast. It takes most people a long time to figure out that this strap is for bringing the incline angle up and down. But again, seats are super comfortable. I would much rather have comfortable seats than electronic seats. So if it was a trade-off, I think Jeep made the right trade-off. But I feel like at the price point of $70,000, maybe that's something they want to look at. Oh, here's one other thing I did. I bought the rubber floor mats. These are the Mopar ones from a Jeep dealer online, and they had a really great deal. So that worked out pretty well. Off-road, obviously, you know everything about off-road. It's super freaking capable. I don't need any more than this. I can keep up with almost anything. My brother has a Raptor. I feel like this can keep up with it for the most part, unless we're doing a speed run through Baja or something like that. Going through rocks and things like that, not a problem at all. A little bit of storage there. I actually use this a little bit as a storage for my parking card for work. That's kind of nice. Let's see, what else can I tell you about this truck that you don't already know?
My apologies. I couldn't hear what you said.
There goes Siri again. There's one thing I've actually noticed about Siri in this truck. There is a bit of an integration that seems to work even past the Apple Carplay thing, which I haven't noticed with my other trucks or cars. And that has been, like, for example, if I'm low on fuel, Siri and Apple CarPlay seem to know about that. So the car is telling Apple CarPlay a couple of things. It isn't just a one-way, from the phone to the truck. It is from the truck to the phone as well, which I actually think is quite nice. So a lot of times, if I'm not paying attention, I'll know that way that I'm low on fuel. That's quite a nice thing. Let's see, what do I have planned for this truck? I live in the social state of California, so I don't think a exhaust is really going to happen these days. I mean, there's not a shop that I know of that'll change anything with exhaust on trucks. You got to do it yourself. I might do it myself. I have done it myself in a lot of my vehicles in the past, and on the bikes, obviously. But I don't know. I don't mind the sound of the truck. I think it could use more power, honestly. 285 horsepower for a truck this big is a little pathetic, especially when you put 35s or larger on there. You do feel a little sluggish. It does pick up pretty quick from a light. If you floor it, you will get up and go. But top speed or whatever, you hit about 80, and this thing is like, it starts climbing only about a mile every other minute. So it is a little slow. It could use more. I've looked into like some of the options out there, like the superchargers and whatnot, and honestly, I don't know, $7,000 to get another 30 horsepower or something like that. I would consider, if they ever sold this thing with a bigger motor, I would definitely jump on it, like a Hellcat out of the factory. I'm not going to do a Hellcat swap on my own. I think if they sold this thing for $100,000 with kind of like a Hellcat package, I think they could sell it close to 100, maybe 90. Again, keep in mind, this was like 70 basically with the upgraded wheels and whatnot, and the leveling kit. I didn't pay that for it. I paid a little less, but I think it was 67 is what they were asking for, and because of the quote unquote upgrades, and we worked out a better deal than that. 62.9 I think is, or 62.5 is the MSRP on a launch edition. So yeah. Anyway, I've probably forgotten a lot of what I wanted to tell you guys because I didn't write good notes before I started this video. But I just, I feel like everybody walks up to me on a daily basis complimenting me on the truck, and I haven't talked much about it because I haven't had a whole lot of time working on the house. It has been absolutely instrumental in that project for me. I'm sure any truck would have been, but this has been, I look good doing it. And I can pick up the kids every day. So it isn't just a work truck. We go out to dinner with this thing. We, fill up the car. 5 passengers, no problem. Kids in the back, no problem. Going shopping and whatnot. I mean, it's like a do-everything vehicle. It's the only do-everything vehicle I know. I mean, it's a convertible. What are you going to find that's going to climb whatever you put in front of it, be able to make a good Home Depot lumber run, and then also put the top off when the weather's nice? Guess what? This may be the only one thing on the market that can do that. In fact, I know it is. So if you're looking for a do-everything vehicle, which I usually, that's the kind of thing that gets me, because I don't like owning a lot of cars and trucks at once. So this has just been like this perfect daily driver for me. I have already, in the short 7 months that I've had it, and keep in mind my commute to work is not very much. I've already put almost, I think, 9,000 miles on this thing. Oh, you know what? I just did think of something. The Uconnect app. That is kind of been a little lackluster. I do like the fact that there's an app. I kind of wish that they would just get their shit together and improve it already, because as good as it is, it's pretty terrible. I mean, every time you look at it, it basically says last updated 5 days ago or something like that. It's like, why do I care how much gas I had in the truck or how much air were in my tires 5 days ago? I care about right this minute, you know? So I feel like that needs to be real time. Whatever they need to do to get it real time, I think would be great. And maybe just do a little bit more with it, you know? I don't know what, but do a little more. Maybe send information to the truck for an upcoming thing or whatever. I don't know. I guess with Apple CarPlay, some of that stuff is kind of useless anyway. But being able to lock the doors remotely and things like that, it is nice. But you don't get a positive feedback, really. Like, I don't really know if it really happens. Sometimes I'm in the house. I don't have the key with me because I'm upstairs. Maybe I'm in bed and I'm like, did I lock the truck or not? And it's not a huge problem where I am, but I like to always keep the truck locked. And when I go through the app, I never really know if it worked. So definitely room for improvement there. But overall, yeah, if you're contemplating getting into a Jeep Gladiator, wait no longer. This has been a hell of a truck. I highly recommend the fully loaded Rubicon if you can afford it. But if you can't, I think it's a great truck at $35,000 if you can just go for the sport. Some of the options I would not miss, honestly. I guess it depends on who you are, but that 8.4-inch screen is super sweet with all the features that it gives you, and the Apple CarPlay, I think, is fantastic. Sirius Satellite Radio has replay. I've been using the hell out of that. I didn't even have Sirius Satellite Radio ever really before this truck, and it's just been like the thing I listen to now. It's been great and really great quality. The replay option is fantastic. If you've ever tried that, you can just skip back and listen to whatever track that you were listening to a few tracks ago. I think that's a fantastic feature. So yeah, I would get that. I don't know about any of the safety features. Honestly, I don't feel like they're really making the truck safer, especially with the bugs I had. Maybe I would skip that if I were to order from scratch. I would recommend the tonneau cover, and I really do like the spray bed liner. I feel like it's been phenomenal. Nothing slides on that thing. I know you can get those aftermarket, but I didn't think anything was wrong with the factory installed one. And I know it's not really installed by the factory. It's probably some secondhand dealer that does it. But hey, it's under warranty, and I happen to like it quite a bit. The track system, the rails and whatnot, I'd probably get something aftermarket. I wouldn't necessarily order that from Jeep. I don't feel like it's that great. It's okay. It's not that great. The leather seats, to me, a must. They're great. They're fantastic. The keyless go, even though I have a small complaint with it, I still would absolutely recommend it. And the remote start system, must. You must get it. Whatever it costs, get it. I know you don't get that on a manual. And by the way, automatic, get it. I know a lot of you love your manual transmissions, but honestly, this is a great 8-speed transmission. Oh, I get about 13 to 14 miles to the gallon. I'm on 35s. It's been calibrated 13 to 14 miles to the gallon. Is that good? No. Is it terrible? No. Most vehicles this size, when you put them under load and you drive them like I do, they get about that much. It's a compromise. I think it's okay. Do I wish it got better? Like 17? Yes, but it doesn't. So there you are. What else? What else would I get? The steel bumper. I love the look of it. And the integrated fog lights, I think that's a huge plus for me. And I think it looks brilliant. I know that the built-in winch capacity or whatever, I know that's got a couple of gotchas in there, like you have to buy extra flanges and whatnot, but I think it's really nice. Oh, the trail cam, and I don't know if you can just option that out on its own. It is pretty great. I don't think it's a must, but I think it's pretty great. Before I leased a truck, I thought it was a must, but I don't necessarily think that anymore. Let's see. What else? That's about it. Not a whole lot of other options, I don't think, that I didn't mention. So if there's something you want to know about the truck, and if there's an option that you're curious about, and you want to write to me in the comments, I'm more than happy to answer. I mean, I got all the options on here, so I can tell you if it's something I would say is a must or something you should skip. And if you need help speccing one out, I'm happy to help you out. But again, my recommendation is just to walk into your dealer near you and just make a deal with them. These things are not exactly flying off the shelf. Most dealers I know have a few of them on the lot, and they'd love to see them go, I'm sure. So yeah, get out there and get one if you've been on the fence. It is a great truck. So yeah, thanks guys for watching. Hope this has helped you, and love to hear your comments. And I'm going to make a bunch more videos going forward on the Gladiator. So click that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when I got a new one out. And I hope to hear from you soon.